Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
After completing our numeric function, the second SQL built-in function, that is character or text function. So the character or text function are used to manipulate the strings, to calculate the strings, the character or the text function. Or in simple way we can say that the character or string function that can accept the character as input and can return both character and string as the output. Okay, it also going to accept the character and string as input as well as going to return the character or text function as the output. So this is about our character or the text function. Now let's some of the function join with our character or the text function. The first function name is the lower string underscore value. So what about the lower string underscore value? So we can say all the characters in string underscore value is converted to the lower case. So what's the value we are using? Under or in string underscore value, such string underscore value answer or the input value going to convert into the lower case. So in example I am using as the lower and string value I am using as good morning and such one going to enclose by using the single quote. Now it going to return the value, the returning value in small letter in lower case. Whatever the string value I inputted, such one going to return in our lower case answer as the good morning. Clear this point here? So all the letters in string underscore value is converted to the lower case. So the function name is the string lower string underscore value. Now let's the second function, that is our upper open the parenthesis string underscore value and closing of the parenthesis. So the meaning or the description we can say as the all the letters in string underscore value is converted to the uppercase. Okay, the function name is the upper. So what's the value? It's there in string underscore value converted to the uppercase. So example, upper opening of the parenthesis, opening the single quote, opening of the single quote, good morning, closing of the single quote, closing of the parenthesis. On that tab how we get the return value? The return value everything going to return on the basis of the uppercase function. Okay, so everything going to return in uppercase. So this is the function called as the upper string underscore value. And later the third function is the INIT CAP, so called as the initial capital. The first letter should be in capital. Clear? So initial capital string underscore value. So the meaning we can say as the all the letters in string underscore value is converted to the mixed case. Okay, so the first letter, so how we are using initial capital, opening of the parenthesis, good morning going to enclose using single quote, and the returning value the first letter it going to display in capital letter. All the letters in string underscore value is converted to the mixed case. The first letter of the G and the first letter of the M it going to display in capital letter and every letter are in small. Okay, so later the fourth function name is the L trim. Okay, the L trim opening of the parenthesis string underscore value comma trim underscore text closing of the parenthesis. So what about the left trim? So we can say that here in case of our L trim, all occurrences in our string underscore value is removed from the left side of the string underscore value. So what's the value is there in left side, it going to remove under or in string underscore value. So how we are using the example? The example L trim and opening of the parenthesis, open the single quote, good morning, closing of the single quote, closing of the parenthesis. So this is the good comes in case of the left side and morning in our right side here. So it going to trim which answer, that means the left side value going to trim. In left side value, the value is the good, so just the returning value will get as the morning. Clear this one? Why? Because good is going to trim, so because of this reason just return value it will get as the, or we will get as the return value as the morning here. And like that only R trim. So what do you mean by R trim? The R trim is called as the right side trim. Okay, now so all occurrences in our trim or the all occurrences in our trim underscore text is removed from the right side. Okay, the all occurrences in our trim underscore text is removed from the right side here, right side in this case. So how we are using the example? The example is the R trim and opening of the parenthesis, single quote, good morning, closing of the parenthesis and closing of the single quote and the closing of the parenthesis. So now just only, why? Because I already said in left side good is there, in right side morning is there here. Now what it going to trim? The value that is there in our right side. In right side the value is the morning, so it going to trim the value morning, so returning value that is the good only. Clear this point here? So we can say that all occurrences in the trim text is removed from the right side. Okay, here right side of the string underscore value. And after completing lower function, upper function, initial capital, L trim, left trim, right trim, and later next one is about our sixth function that comes under character or text function, that is trim, opening of the parenthesis, trim underscore text from string underscore value, closing of the parenthesis. So what I want to write in our example. So in example I want to write as the trim, opening of the parenthesis, opening the single quote, okay, and O, closing of the single quote, from opening of the single quote, good and morning, closing of the single quote, closing of the parenthesis. So what about in this case trim? That means here no any left is there, no any right is there, just only I started from the trim. So we can say that all occurrences in trim underscore text is removed from the left as well as the right side of the string underscore value. So the character can also be one character long. Clear this point here? Whatever the trim underscore text, what's the character we selected under or in trim underscore text here, can also be one character only. Just only one character you can select in our trim underscore text. So what's the character are selected in this example? The character is the O. I want to whatever the how many O's are there in our trim text here, in our function trim function here. So such O character we need to remove, maybe from the left side as well as from the right side. So just only it going to show the answer, the returning value GDMRNING. So why? Because here many O's are there in our good morning. Okay, so how many O's it going to remove? Maybe in our good we will get 2 O's. Clear this point here? So such one going to remove, as well as in our morning the 1 O is there, it also going to remove. Final returning value without using the O, it just displaying the returning value GDMRNING. Okay, so this is called as the trim function. And after completing the next function name, that is the len, string underscore value. So we can say that why we using the length function. The length function means return the number of characters in string underscore value. How many characters are there? It going to return including spaces. Clear this point here? It returning the answer including the spaces. Every function, whatever the answer, it going to accept in the same manner. It going to display the answer, except one function is there in our character. The function is the length function. It going to return the value in a going to return the output in value basis. Clear this point? In value basis, in number basis. So we know that when you are going to count the good morning, we will get 11 characters. Okay, the good morning we will get 11 characters. I already said including spaces we need to count. So when you are going to use or include these spaces here, on that tab we'll get the return value as 12. Okay, so we can say that length function. What's the use of the length function? Return the number of characters, okay, in our string underscore value including the spaces, and the output it going to show in number wise, in value basis. Clear? And later the last function name is the sub, substring, opening of the parenthesis, string underscore value, comma, m, comma, n, closing of the parenthesis. So we can say that substring. So what about the substring here? So we can say return the n number of characters, okay, kya, from our string underscore value and starting from m position. Clear this point? Return n number of character. It going to return n number of characters in our string underscore value or from string underscore value here, okay, and starting from m position. Let's see by using example. In example I completed sub str, opening of the parenthesis, open single quote, good morning, closing single quote, comma, 6. Why? Because m value is 6, n value is 7. So what it going to return? So I said return n number of characters. So n number of character is the, that is the morning. Return n number of characters, okay, n number of character from string underscore value. String value is the good morning, but it going to return n number of character. The n value is the 7, so it returns the value that is the morning, okay, kya, and starting from m position, starting from the m position. So the m value is the 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it going to start from the m going to start from the position 6. So we can say that it going to return the value as the morning. Clear this point here? So the substring we can say return n number of characters from string underscore value and starting from the m position, okay. So m position value is 6, n position value is the 7. So returning n position value, that is the morning, starting from m position 6. That means when you are going to count G1, OO 2 and 3, D is the 4 and including spaces we need to count, that is the 5, and later the 6th position, that is the letter m. So it going to return the value as the morning. And later after that the next function name is the date function. Why? Because we know that in our single row function or the scalar function there are 4 types are there. The first function is the numeric function, second function is the character function, now the third function name, that is our date function. So the date function, the first date function, or before going to go in a before going to tell the example in our date function, let's the some explanation about our date, how it going to return and what it going to accept as input and what it going to return as the output. So these are the functions and that take the value as the data type date only and returning value as also a date. Accepting the date and the return value is also going to return in our date manner only. There is no any changes, but one function is that the function name is the month underscore between. Okay, the months underscore between function which returns the answer in our or the output in our number manner. Clear this point here? So the date function, it accepting the value as or whatever the input it going to accept in date manner, and returning value is also a date only, but the function months underscore between it going to accept in date value but returning value of the output that is in number. Okay kya? So now the first date function is the add underscore months, date comma n. So what about the add underscore months, date comma n? We can say that return the date value after adding n months to the date x. So return date value, returning value in our date only, return date value but after adding n months to the date x, after adding n months. So the date, what's the date? The date is the 15 February 2020. Okay, 15 February 2020, you need to add the n months to the date x. So our, yeah, we can say that the n months is the 9. So February means you need to add the 9 to the February. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October and November. So what's the returning value? The returning value we need to add 9 months. Maybe in case you want to use 10 means you need to add December also the 10. Clear this point? Totally 10 values you need to add. So the returning value is the 15 November 2020. Clear this point here? The add months, it's going to add the months to the date X. Clear? After the returning the date value after adding n months to the date X. So the return value is the 15 November 2020. And later the second function, months underscore between opening of the parenthesis x1 comma x2 closing of the parenthesis, months between. So return the number of months between date x1 and date x2. So what's the difference? What's the months in between first date to the second date? So the first date is the 16 September 2020 and second date is 16 December 2020. So September means October, November, December. So how many months are there in between date 1 to the date 2? The date 2, the number of months are 3. Clear this point? Why? Because I already said every function in our date value accepting as input as date and returning the output as date only, except one function. The function name is the months underscore between, which returns the number as the output. So in this example, how we got the answer, the returning value in number only. That means it's going to display the months between, the number of months between, that is from date x1 to the date x2. We know that in our SQL built-in function, there are two type of functions are there. The first function name is single row function. Single row function also called as scalar function, and return the value of every row that is processed in a query. And group function, second function is called as the group function, that operate on group of rows and return one value for the entire group. Some example for the group functions are total, average. So just only we can make the calculation of the total by using the group function. And also we know that such single row function or scalar function are of 4 types. The types are numeric function, second type character or text function, third is our date function, and the fourth function name is called as the conversion functions. And the numeric function, some example, ABS of x or sale of x, floor of x, truncates or trunk of x, comma y, and rounded or round of x comma y all comes with in our numeric function. And the second function, character function. So some example for the character functions are lower string underscore value, and such one is using to calculate all the characters in lowercase, and second upper string underscore value, initial capital, maybe the length of the character. So all those functions are some of the example for our character or the text function. And now let's the next thing about our date functions. So in our date functions, we can say that, why, because I already explained some of the date function. The first function is the add underscore months, okay, date comma n. So return the date value. Return the date value after adding n months to the date x. So actually the number, in example I use the number 15 February 2020. Now we need to add to such date the 9 months. So when you are going to add to such date the months 9, then we'll get the answer as the, or the return value we can say as the 15 November 2020, okay. And later the second date function, that is called as the months underscore between open close, that is called the months underscore between function. So why we using months underscore between function? So such one is using just to calculate the number of months between our first date to the next second date. So the first date is the 16th September 2020 and the second date is the 16th December 2020. When you are going to count in between the number of months in between first date to the, or the date x1 to the date x2, the number of months we can say as the 3. So this is called as the return value of months between. And we know that about this one, the date function, whatever we are going to input, such one only going to return as the output in date value. But one function is that the function name is the months underscore between, such a function which return number as the output. Clear this point? And later after completing months underscore between, the next date is called as the next underscore day, open the parenthesis, x comma week underscore day, close the parenthesis. So why we using the next underscore day? Why? Because to return the next date of the weekday. Clear this one? Just to return the next date of the weekday or after the date x specified or the occurs. So the date I used, the date is the next day. The date is the 20 March 2020. So it going to return the value as the 21st. Clear this one? The 21st March 2020. So why? Because why we using the next underscore day to return the next date of the weekday. So the next day after the 20, the next day we can say very easily the next day, that is called as the 21st March 2020 after the date occurs here. So this is about our next day. And what about the last underscore day of x? So we can say such last underscore day of x is using to calculate the number of days remaining, okay, in a month. How many days are remaining in a month? Okay, clear this point here, or after the date occurs here. So number of days, okay, the number of days remaining in a month is using just, or the last underscore day is using to calculate the number of days remaining in a month. So how many days are remaining from the month, from the date x specified here? So the number of months are the 30 June 2020. That means totally when you need to calculate, that is from the date x. Clear this word? Not after the date x, that is from the date x here. So the date x is the 1 June 2020. So total number of months, that is we can say as the 30 June 2020. Clear this point? And later next one is about our sys date. So why we using the sys date? The sys date, it is a function and such function is using to return the current system date and time values. Clear this one? The computer, why? Because system only call as the computer. So the system current date and the time values here. So whatever is that, so by using such function we can get or we can return the value of the current system date and time value. And after completing some functions in our date function, the functions are add underscore months or months underscore between, next underscore day and last underscore day, and also sysdate. The last concept in this chapter, the concept name is the conversion functions. Why? Because there are 4 types are there. First one numeric function, second function name is called as the character or text function, and third function name date functions here, and the fourth function name is called as the conversion function. So what about the conversion function? So these are the function that help us to convert the value that is in one form to the another form. Clear this point here? By using such a function we can convert the value, or we can convert the value very easily. It helps to convert the value that is in one form to the another form. Now let's, by using some of the example I want to tell. So some example we can say in our conversion functions are NVL. So NVL is full form called as the null value. Clear? NVL full form is the null value. So we can convert that is from null value to the actual value. We know the meaning of the null value. If no value is there in cell, okay, the blank value or the cell left blank. So during record creation, so this is called as the null value. So the null value to an actual value, or maybe we are going to convert the value that is from one data type to the another data type. It also occur in our conversion functions. Or some example we can say as to character. We are going to convert from one form to character form here, maybe from one form to date form, or maybe from one form to the number form here. So many example we can give in our conversion function. Now let's, after completing the explanation about our conversion function, now some of the example for the conversion function. The example, first of all I am selecting the example, the function name, that is the to underscore char. That means here we are going to convert from one to another form to the next form, that is called as the to character. Clear this point here? To character. So convert the numeric date value, or maybe to convert maybe any numeric value just only to a character date to a character value. Clear this point? Here we are going to convert from, that is from date value to a character value. How you are knowing? I am going to convert that is from to character value. Why? Because the function only says about this one to underscore char. Clear? So here we are going to convert that is from date value, the numeric date value, to a character value, and it cannot be used for the calculation. Why? Because whatever we are going to convert to the character value, so here we are not going to use any calculation since it is a string value. Clear this point here? It is a string value. Now let's, the example for the conversion function, the example, the first example, to character. Clear this one? To character. So just only one simple example, but actually we need to use the second example is very easy. Clear this point? So just the second example, to underscore char, opening of the parenthesis, sysdate, comma, opening of the single quote, day, comma, month, and later next one y, that is called as the day, month, year, closing of the single quote, and also closing of the parenthesis. Okay, so what it going to return? The first of all, we know that the meaning of this sysdate. Why? Because in date function, what I said, the meaning of this sysdate, this sysdate means it returns the current system date and time values. So it going to return the current system date and time value. Maybe example, if you want the current system date and time, the value is the Wednesday, March 2020. It going to return. Clear? In a character basis, that is from the date value to a character basis. So it returning Wednesday, March 2020. Why? Because the year we can't convert to the character. So whatever is there, everything the year only going to return in the number. Clear this point? But other thing, maybe the day and also the month going to convert into the two character value. Okay, and later next one is about our second function, to_date open close. So what we are going to convert. So here we can say that whatever is that the conversion going to occur, that is from the numeric character to the date value. Clear this point here? The numeric character to the date value here, the it going to convert. So the date I am going to select as the 19 March 2020. So it going to display the return value as the 19 March 2020. Why? Because whatever we accepted, such one going to convert to or into to_date. So the example, to_date, that is the 19 March 2020. So just it going to return to a date value. Okay, so we'll get the answer or the return value as the 19 March 2020. And the last thing about our NVL, I already said the meaning or the full form of the NVL. NVL is called as the null value. Okay, so here we can say that why? Because maybe the x and y value is there in bracket. If you are taking, first of all, if you are writing NVL x comma y, so we can say that if x is a null, correct? No, the first value in example I completed the x value as the null. If x is a null, then it replaced with the y. Okay, but when it possible to replace such value, null value to the y value here, so whatever the value is there in y, we can replace it to the x value. But when it possible to replace, when both x and y have the same data type. Clear this point here? Why? Because we can say that the x and y must be of the same data type, then only we can convert the value that is from, or we can replace the value that is from y to the x. Clear this point here? So now finally the return value. Why? Because here we already converted the value, replaced the value that is from y to the x. So finally the return value we can say as the 1. Clear this one? So all are some of the functions in our SQL built-in functions. Clear this point? And later, why? Because here some of the functions we already completed in our SQL built-in function, and I already explained each and everything in example or by using the example. So today just only we completed our SQL command chapter. So thank you for watching this video.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.